Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations, and we are going to be doing a mirror makeover. Now, this is the mirror. So we have this big, round, metal porthole looking mirror. Now, interestingly enough, I had been gifted 2 of these. So one of them, I'll put the link to the video in case you missed it and you want to see how I did the other one. I actually did kind of like as a mirror wreath. So it was soft and pastels. So we're not doing soft and pastels. We're gonna go bold. Now here's the thing. I get that we tend to always gravitate toward painting what we think will sell. And so if a lot of people are buying distressed white, you're painting a lot of distressed white. I mean, I have 5 candlesticks over there. I just did 3. I've got 5 more to finish off. So I do distressed white. I probably don't show you all the time because it's the same thing. You see me doing that in other projects where I try and show you more than just doing that. Okay, I'm just gonna put this down. But color makes my heart happy. And if you saw the owl dresser that I just did, I mean, I was super happy then. I can link that in case you missed that. That was just a week ago, so easy enough to find on the channel. It's not super buried. But sometimes you just have to go with some color. And for me, it means I'm likely going to hang on to the piece longer here in the shop, though eventually it'll find its right home. So if you've got a booth, you might not have the luxury of waiting that long, but maybe you like color and you're despairing of channels that are showing you a lot of the same thing, right? So we're gonna have some fun and hopefully pick up a couple of tips along the way. That's always my goal, is that maybe you learn something. So you can see me hanging on to the red. This is Carnival Red by DIY. You could use any paint. The next layer is gonna seal it, so I don't need to have a paint that's already got a sealer built in. And I'm getting rid of these containers, so I'm trying to use up the colors that are still sitting in them. And you know, you could love them. I hate them. Or I at least hate them for this paint, the clay-based paint. I haven't tried it with something else, but you know what? It never really occurred to me that it required to be cleaning them out. I don't like doing dishes. I don't want to be cleaning out my paint containers. So if I'd thought ahead that I would need to do that at some point, I wouldn't have got them. But so, you know, sometimes we just learn in retrospect. So here's the deal. I'm actually going to go red to start because then we're going copper. And red is an awesome base for copper. It's an awesome base for metallics. It adds kind of a warmth to that color overall. And then we're going to add red in a different form back. So we're not being shy. We're not being shy on this one. So I'm gonna get a couple of coats of this red on here. I might be okay with just the one since I'm going copper over top. And I'm looking at it going on, I'm gonna do one, just to be honest. Sometimes more is not necessary, in which case, why do more? Both in terms of the additional expense of the piece. If you don't have to do 2 layers, then that saves you the cost of that 1 layer of paint, but also your time. And I always have tons more projects on the go. So I'm gonna get one nice solid coat on here, let it dry, and then we'll be back. Oh, I'm loving the red. I've got 1 coat on this. It's not perfect coverage. If I was leaving the red exposed, then I would definitely need a 2nd coat, but this is good. DIY paint, the clay-based paint that I use, dries lighter. As soon as it is sealed, it goes back to that wet, dark color. For the copper, and I'm definitely going to need a couple of coats for this for sure. 2 at least, we'll see about 3. I am using Pennies from Heaven, which is the copper patina from DIY. This is in essence also a sealer. So I won't have to seal once this is on. And I'm going to get, oh, that's so beautiful. I'm going to paint 1 coat on, let it dry, do a 2nd coat, and then see what I need. But I don't know if you can see what I'm saying about the echo up through there. Like right now, you can see just, you know, some of that red peeking through. You'll see less of it when I get that 2nd coat on, but it will still add a natural warmth to the color of copper. You know, you could do like a black undercoat, and the copper, if you had, let's say I had 2 of these mirrors, and I painted 1 black and I painted 1 red, did my 2 coats of copper over top of both. Held together, the copper would look slightly different. It would have just a slightly different tone to it by virtue of the underlying color. So I'm just going to carry on. This is going to dry very quickly, which then allows me to get that 2nd coat on very quickly today. It might even let me move on to the next step before the day is through. Oh, that's exciting. This is our 2 coats of the copper on there. So you can't see any of the red. 2 coats was more than enough, but it definitely has a rich look to it, partly because of the red underneath it. Now, I'm just looking for where the top is. There's got hanging hardware on this. And just as I look to do some of my design, so simple for finishing this off, but it's going to be so bold. We are going to take the Floral Anthology Transfer from IOD. So these are the 4 sheets that we have. I'm going to be cutting them apart. Always noisy here. But we're going to be applying the floral transfers all over this piece. So it will require us to do some cutting of these big sheets. And then we'll be taking these smaller sheets and filling in. So we've got lots of flowers to be able to work with, but we're going to start, and I really love, like, this color is just going to work perfectly on this. What we're going to do is start by cutting away, there's the scissors, cutting away just these little corner pieces that are going to be some of our filler. You know, where we've got the little extra floral. IOD was just kind enough to use all of the surface, giving us some little extras in the package that we could be able to use. If not for the big project we're working on, then certainly for some smalls. And I've always got little bits and pieces to be able to pull from for other projects. But with this, we're going to start by looking at how far down this goes. And I might start it up here, see how it filters down. And it's going quite far. We're looking at probably cutting our circle right in around here. So again, we'll use these pieces as edging where we need as well. So we're not going to lose anything. And it really then is as simple. Let me pull this down. There's the top. peeling this off. And I just want to, because I've got the ripples, I want it to be able to fit down along those ripples. So I'm actually going to fold this back a bit and get the placement of these starting pieces. So I'm going to stand for this. I'm going to take the little stick and I'm actually going to start to apply it already. I haven't pulled all of the white plastic off of it yet, but I want to ensure that it's not going to get all cockeyed as I start to work down all of those edges and tiers that are on this. I want it to have a nice smooth flow to it and unbroken. And the easiest way is to get some stuck and then peel back the next layer. So I have the two big main pieces on, and now it's a matter of taking any of the other pieces that I'm interested in and just looking to kind of add them in wherever I feel like it. The nice thing about these transfers is you can, so noisy, is that you can layer them on top of each other even. So if you need to make it look like they're overlapping or they're merging onto each other, you can do that, no problem. So this is where you just kind of play. We're just adding on florals until we're happy with it. In my head, I'm thinking I want it to look pretty full. I want it to be pretty bountiful. I was thinking florful and I'm going, that's not a word. I want it to look fairly bountiful. So I'm gonna keep adding florals until I'm happy. Now, when we're done, we have a choice. We can seal these with a polyacrylic top coat. We could wax them, or because this is going to be something that nobody's really going to be touching, we're going to hang it on the wall. We could actually just leave it because we don't have to worry about wear and tear on it. It's not like it's going to go onto a tabletop at all. So I'm just going to sit here and continue to add flowers wherever and however I see fit until it's as full, until it's as flowerful as I want. Now, once I'm finished rubbing all of these transfers on, and it took a hot minute, there was a lot of them. I used the better part of the entire 4-page transfer. I do have this kind of stack of littles that I can use on small projects going forward, but all I'm looking at now is kind of burnishing in those ends. And again, now is when you would seal it, if you opt to. Because it's going to be hanging on a wall, people aren't going to be touching it. It's not do or die, you don't have to. I am going to be applying a coat of top coat to it just to be safe, because by the time that I've applied all of these transfers to it, I don't want anything to happen to it now. So it's just more, I worked hard. I want to protect it. So this is what our finished mirror looks like. Still needs a little Windexing in the center, but that's the mirror. So a couple of things about this. I get, oh look, you can see you. You can see you can see the video. I get that this isn't necessarily everybody's cup of tea. You know, the owl dresser I did, not for everybody. Painting in white, not for everybody. And that's okay. That's okay. The difference is to take in these different ideas, take in these different looks. Because you never know when you're going to want to pull them out of your toolkit. And when I come across a customer that wants a custom piece and they start talking about how to get a real copper look on it. Okay, I already know what layering the red under the copper looks like. Or, gee, I want to do tons of florals over top. I already know what that looks like. So I like to practice different styles, different looks with my smaller pieces, which gives me a good idea how to be able to handle some of my bigger pieces. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know if you'd ever tried doing a copper piece or not, and certainly as well what you think about florals over the copper. Different look for me too. I haven't done florals over copper. You get to learn as I get to learn. I hope you find this helpful in some way, even if it isn't your style, even if it isn't your thing. That's okay. It's all about learning, and sometimes we might just be learning about what doesn't suit us as much as what does. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on the next one, and until then, take care.